Sometimes when travelling through the post-apocalyptic wasteland, regular skin Mark 1 and rags simply won't cut it. I mean they will, but only if you want to vastly increase the risk of being burnt, shot, shocked, or irradiated like a diver taking a casual dip into the bottom of a nuclear rod storage pool. And for those times you need armour. Strong armour. This is the T45 Power Combat Infantry Armour, or T45 Power Armour for short, or just the T45 because T45 Power Armour is a little bit of a mouthful on its own, let alone T45 Power Combat Infantry Armour. Originally it was pressed into service in 2067 on the Alaskan front in the Sino-American War, only after 2 years of development. Which for a new product like this is an impressive turnaround, given that it's literally designed to take on tanks. But it has seen other uses such as crowd control and quarantine control. There is something deeply ironic about how a device designed to fight for the American people was eventually, in some, albeit limited circumstances, turned against the American people. Its longevity is impressive, bear in mind that in 2287 there are still several suits that are still completely functional, after being casually left to rot in the open or worse, being left at the bottom of a lake, only to work perfectly well with the installation of a new fusion core. Yes, the T45A revision is showing the signs of aging at this point with a patina of rust covering it, but that's nothing that a fresh coat of paint can't sort out. Literally in this case polishing and painting something the colour of a turd to make it look good. In terms of how it handles, being one of, if not the earliest version of Power Armour, you can expect it to fall short of its successors in a number of ways. For example, the damage resistance of the final model, the T45F, in an unmodified state is lower than even the most basic XO1 suit, and the T45A has damage resistance equal to that of Raider Power Armour, something that's been MacGyvered together from a basic frame and whatever the Raiders have lying around at the time. I would say aside from drugs and alcohol, but let's be honest, looking at the Raider armour, they were clearly under the influence of something at the time that they put it together. In fact, the only advantage the T45A has over Raider armour is that it has better shock resistance, and you have the ability to apply more modifications to it in order to improve it further, at least as far as I can tell. But despite this, in many situations it's better to have the T45 than nothing at all. For example, if you're planning on heading out to one of the more irradiated places like a literal bomb site, it's also handy if you plan on taking an extended trip underwater and don't have the perk that allows water breathing. It's also one of the cheapest suits to repair, which is fortunate as it's not exactly durable. But for all of the faults of the T45 armour, you can't deny that there is something iconic about it. After all, it's the first in a long line of suits designed to protect the wearer, even if the motivations of the wearer weren't exactly just. They might have been during the war, but these days they can be used by both the righteous and the dishonourable alike, whether the armour is being used to save a small community or instead using it to raid a city for precious items. Aside from the minor revisions to the T45, the next big upgrade was the T51 suit, but that didn't come until 2076, when it was introduced during the first battle for Anchorage. That means the T45 was in mainstream use for 9 years as the only viable power armour, and was likely still officially in use for many years after. As the various conflicts continued and escalated, given its longevity after the wars, I think it's fair to say that the T45 is all reliable as far as power armour goes. Hope you enjoyed this one. It's something a bit different from the norm, but I can always do more of these if you want. Just let me know in the comments. As always, take care, much love, and 07. Thank you.